Cooper Vision partnered with OT to explore how practitioners can easily help make their contact lens journey more patient-centric. To do this, we gathered 4 ECPs who know their contact lenses.
I'm Eleanor Hickman. I'm an IP optometrist.
I'm Rebecca Troughton. I work in a multiple, so I am a practice owner and an optometrist.
I'm Jen. I'm a contact lens optician and working in Glasgow.
My name is Craig MacArthur. I am an optometrist and a practice owner.
To start off with, we wanted to explore what our ECPs did in practice that ensured the smoothest contact lens journey.
We have a kind of dedicated team, albeit a small team of a contact lens optician, myself and a contact lens manager who take ownership of the appointments that are booked in for the clinic. So we can vet through those, have a little look and see if they've worn before, if there's any history on, if it's a new fit. We turned on a 9 o'clock appointment every day of the week with my CLO, and those appointments book every single day. They're the highest demand we've got. And it's that one simple appointment given kind of 7-day-a-week choice. They can book it as a remote. And I think having that flexibility is probably the most crucial thing. It has to be patient-centred.
There are a few steps that can make a big difference to the patient journey that are available to all.
As part of regular clinic prep, we have got an OC that will go through and kind of phone and confirm things, kind of preview the clinic for the week ahead and look at anybody that's booked in for a fit, try and find out any information that we've got about them already. If not, then try and get in touch with them that way. So it's not necessarily sitting down and phoning every single person that's coming in. It's weeding out where I need to contact them and get extra information to be prepared for them coming in. We get so many people booking online at the moment and we don't have any history for them. So it's been really valuable in finding the extra information that we need to make their fit easier.
Once the patient makes the appointment, you've got another trigger point to communicate with them, educate them, gather information about them. So we do this sort of electronically before they come. A sort of lifestyle questionnaire to get a kind of feel for what you're going to be using the contact lens for. Is it going to be a daily? And then it allows us to sort of try and tailor their visit before they make the journey to the practice.
If a patient is booking in practice, again, I can have a chat with them about that in person and give them, we've got like a leaflet that we give away at the time of like when we're teaching. And it's just got some information for getting prepared of what sort of steps you'd be going through to do it. And a QR code linked to some videos as well.
We've got a buddy call system. So they've got a phone number person to contact. And if they've got any questions, they can call anytime. And, I can't remember what was said, can you go over that with me again? And we organise a buddy call between, if they're on a trial before they're due to return, they always get a call after, somewhere in between the fitting and any review.
The biggest thing I couldn't live without in contacts is a trial bank in my room. We're a multi-floor practice. And as an optom doing fits during the day, if it wasn't in the room, it just adds to the pressure.
There are some more high-tech options that can also help smooth the patient journey.
2023, we've got some really clever tools at our disposal. Our patient journey sort of starts when we market to these people. So we're obviously looking to engage new contact lens wearers, and we do that mostly online. So we generate targeted landing pages. So we look at specific keywords and then we have content that's very targeted at those keywords.
Being prepared for the patient's visit can make a huge difference.
If I don't have trials already, possibly getting something in before they come, it might not be the final lens, but it means we have something to try. And I think that's a good starting point for the patient's experience as well as for the practice. So you don't with too many trips back and forward. I mean, obviously you can't have something for absolutely everyone, particularly these special patients that have got special requirements, but you can certainly have a good range of lenses in the practice.
Patient satisfaction, I would say, is much better at having something there and ready. The vast majority of patients that come into our practice, you're hard pushed to put in a daily stock lens that doesn't fit the bill. From a kind of something to experience point of view, even if it's not quite right in that maybe 10% that need amending, it was still better to experience something than come in and have nothing there and all they've had is another chat and another journey. And I obviously, because I'm here, I'm a big advocate of lenses, but all of our kind of pre-regs and colleagues that work with me are the same, and that means that you can have a lot of surprise appointments coming out for teachers. So In my kind of normal day, I'm aiming for one person to be trialing lenses that didn't know they were going to before they come into practice. So that'll be a sight test, who, you know, when you're chatting in hobbies, lifestyle, that you're converting into a trial. And for those to be effective, in my view, it has to be a same day experience. So whether that's just experiencing lenses for a dispense or just to see what they're like in store, but then having that opportunity to go on for a teach. Every member of our team, bar one, are trained on teaches. If they get to the end of the dispense process and don't fancy it, I'll take them out. If they love them and want to go ahead and learn, let's bring them straight up. We've got kind of a quiet area off the shop floor for teaching. And that means that although it's a surprise appointment, they didn't know I was going to bring that person out, having everyone trained for it and having the handover being a generic, it's whatever I hand out. It's not a, you must be the contact lens person, you must be the dispenser. It kind of merges the two together.
A positive experience is not necessarily, I can see perfectly the minute I put lenses in. If they come out not with what they wanted, that they understand why, and that you've given them, you know, your time and understanding, and that they can still come out there happy patient because you tried. We all know what we're talking about. We know what multifocal is. We know what a daily is. We know what a monthly is. But the patient just wants to be able to see, and they don't necessarily have the, you know, and they don't understand the complexities of what might make that difficult. They can get a pair of glasses they can see with. They should be able to get a pair of contact lenses they can see with, and it's not. We all know that's not quite that straightforward sometimes.
Finally, how does our team of practitioners feel about getting patients back in and signing them off?
With an existing wearer, I am quite comfortable with signing them off because they know when things aren't right. And you know, they tend to get back in touch quite readily if they're not happy about something. I'm a bit more anxious about a new fit because I often find, we're talking about that retention of information. They get a lot of information all at once. And often I think that they're although I try to minimize reviews, that review that they come back, we usually do it a week, 10 days. Although that officially is to check, you know, that the lens is still fitting okay and the cornea is okay. I find that appointment is much more about running over a lot of the stuff that you went through in detail the first time. I think a new fit or a big change, like something like a changing from a single vision to a multifocal, or that repeat visit is not just about, you know, does the lens fit and is it, you know, safe. It's much more about communication and you know, retention of information.
There's some scenarios where people come back for that 2-week aftercare and they're in and out of the room in 5-10 minutes. And from a patient perception, do they know what they had done? Do they know why they had to come back? Or does it look like the same journey as what happened 2 weeks earlier? And what Eleanor said about adding that value, reiterating points, if I can do those bits remotely and that suits that patient, I'm happy to. If they want to come back in, then that appointment has to have value rather than just being a kind of quick check, sign you off, because then they think you're doing it just to tick a box.
And it's really silly stuff that sometimes comes up. It's like, you know, the method of delivery, sometimes the packaging has caused them problems in terms of handling. So it's very seldom, you know, a daily disposable in a young person -2, you're going to expect any sort of clinical issue, but it's some of the other sort of holistic stuff that can go wrong. And we sort of fold that 2-week or 10-day check-in to signing them up to their care plan and explaining how that will work going forward and all the different ways they can communicate with us. So basically trying to just baby them through that really delicate initial period, the contact lens wear. So no dropouts really high in the first couple of months. So how best to mitigate that? These patients are really valuable once you get them through that slightly delicate initial period. A sort of long-term contact lens patient is, to us, it's more than 2 times as valuable